For 2 decades, the 1996 Chicago Bulls stood on top of basketball's mountain. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman built a season that felt untouchable. 72 wins, a championship, and the aura of invincibility. For years, it was simply accepted that no team would ever match them. But then, the Golden State Warriors happened. Not just any Warriors team, the 2017 version, a squad that had just broken the all-time record with 73 regular season wins, then somehow got even stronger by adding Kevin Durant, arguably the second-best player in the world. Suddenly, a franchise once considered an NBA punchline was dominating so thoroughly that people started asking, did we just witness the greatest basketball team ever assembled? This is the story of how the Warriors went from a forgotten franchise to a dynasty that changed basketball forever, how Kevin Durant's decision shook the league to its core, and why, even after 2 championships, his legacy is still debated today. At the start of the 2010s, the Golden State Warriors weren't just bad, they were irrelevant. For decades, they were considered a fun little team with loud fans in Oakland but no real shot at competing. They rarely made the playoffs, never got past the second round, and were, at best, the 4th most relevant team in California behind the Lakers, Clippers, and Kings. Everything changed in 2010 when venture capitalist Joe Lacob bought the Warriors for $450 million. At the time, people thought he was crazy for paying that much. Today, that same franchise is worth over $7.7 billion, second only to the Dallas Cowboys among global sports teams. But back then, Lacob had work to do. Immediately, he made bold, unpopular decisions. He fired Don Nelson, the legendary coach who had been a Bay Area fixture. He traded Monta Ellis, the Warriors' most popular player, a move that had fans literally booing him during public appearances. And he handed the keys to Bob Myers, an inexperienced new general manager who had never run a front office before. Fans were furious, but Lacob and Myers weren't building for popularity, they were building for the future. The Warriors had one saving grace, a skinny baby-faced guard named Stephen Curry. Myers locked him into a team-friendly contract right as Curry was battling ankle injuries, a decision that would later give Golden State the financial flexibility to build a super team. Then came the draft picks that would shape a dynasty. Klay Thompson in 2011, Draymond Green in 2012, and Harrison Barnes that same year. On paper, it didn't look like much at first, but the Warriors were quietly assembling a team that would change basketball forever. The real turning point came in 2014. The Warriors fired Mark Jackson, who had taken them to the playoffs, but struggled with locker room chemistry and a rigid offense. In his place, they hired Steve Kerr, a former role player with no head coaching experience. Kerr brought something new, a system built on ball movement, spacing, and relentless pace. Suddenly, Steph and Klay had the green light to launch threes like never before. Draymond Green became the defensive heartbeat, capable of guarding all 5 positions. And role players like Andre Iguodala, Andrew Bogut, and Sean Livingston filled the gaps perfectly. In 2015, everything clicked. The Warriors won the NBA championship, beating LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Steph Curry became the face of a revolution, pulling up from 30 feet, hitting shots nobody else would even attempt. Kids across the world started practicing logo threes. The NBA had changed overnight. The following season, Golden State went supernova. They won 73 games, breaking the Bulls' all-time record, but the fairy tale ended in heartbreak. Up 3-1 in the finals, the Warriors collapsed, and LeBron James pulled off the greatest comeback in NBA history. For most franchises, that kind of loss would have haunted them for years. For the Warriors, it became the catalyst for the biggest free agency move in modern NBA history. The summer of 2016 changed basketball forever. Kevin Durant, an MVP, a 4-time scoring champion, and one of the most unstoppable offensive forces the game had ever seen, chose to leave Oklahoma City and sign with the Warriors. The reaction? Chaos. Fans burned his jersey. Analysts called him weak, a snake, even a cupcake. Critics said it was the softest move in NBA history, joining the very team that had just knocked him out of the playoffs. But here's the truth. The Warriors needed Durant just as much as Durant needed the Warriors. Golden State had all the shooting and all the ball movement in the world, but in 2016, they ran into the one player they couldn't solve, LeBron James. Durant was the antidote. He gave them size, defense, and another unstoppable scorer who could take over when Steph or Clay went cold. From the very first game, Durant fit seamlessly. He played unselfish basketball, moving without the ball, defending at a near-elite level, and punishing teams that tried to double-team Curry. The Warriors finished the season with 67 wins, the highest offensive rating in NBA history, the second-best defense, and the third-best net rating ever recorded. It looked unfair, like someone had entered a cheat code. The playoffs confirmed it. Golden State steamrolled through the West without losing a single game. Then came the finals, and once again, LeBron James and the Cavaliers were waiting. Only this time, the Warriors had Durant. The 2017 finals weren't just a victory, they were a demolition. Cleveland had been dominant themselves, losing just one playoff game on their way to the finals. But against Golden State, they had no answers. Every mistake, every turnover was punished instantly by the Warriors' avalanche of threes and fast breaks. And when the Cavs did manage to hang close, Durant was the dagger. In Game 3, with the score tight in the final minute, he calmly pulled up from deep, right in LeBron's face, and drilled one of the coldest shots in NBA history. That three didn't just win the game, it crushed Cleveland's spirit. The Warriors won the series in 5 games, finishing the playoffs with a record of 16-1, the most dominant postseason in NBA history. Durant averaged 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists on absurd shooting percentages, winning Finals MVP with one of the greatest championship performances ever. The debate had begun. Were these Warriors the best team of all time? The following season only fueled the argument. In 2018, Golden State wasn't quite as invincible. They won just 58 games. The Houston Rockets, led by MVP James Harden, pushed them to the brink in the Western Conference Finals. For the first time, the Warriors looked vulnerable, but then Chris Paul went down with a hamstring injury in Game 5. The Rockets missed 27 straight threes in Game 7, and once again, Golden State emerged from the fire. In the finals, they swept LeBron's Cavaliers. Durant won another Finals MVP, solidifying his place as the most unstoppable force in basketball. At this point, the Warriors weren't just winning, they were making everyone else look powerless. But no dynasty lasts forever. And for Golden State, the cracks started to show in 2019. Durant was in a contract year, and whispers grew louder that he wasn't happy. Then came the infamous argument with Draymond Green during a regular season game against the Clippers. After a blown play, Draymond refused to pass to KD, then unleashed a profanity-laced tirade. "We don't need you." The Warriors suspended Draymond, but the damage was done. Durant's relationship with the team never fully recovered. Still, on the court, they were unbeatable until injuries struck. Durant tore his calf in the playoffs, returned too soon in the finals, and ruptured his Achilles. Moments later, Klay Thompson tore his ACL. The Toronto Raptors, led by Kawhi Leonard, finished the job and dethroned the Warriors. In that instant, the dynasty ended. Durant left for Brooklyn. Klay missed 2 full seasons. Steph broke his hand. And just like that, the team that once looked like an unstoppable video game cheat code was suddenly mortal again. Durant's time in Golden State remains one of the most divisive chapters in NBA history. On one hand, critics argue his rings don't count the same, that he joined an already stacked team and took the easy way out, that no matter what he accomplished, he'll never escape the shadow of Curry and the Warriors' 73-win foundation. But on the other hand, the numbers don't lie. Durant wasn't just along for the ride, he was the best player on the court. He guarded LeBron James, dropped 35 points per game in the finals, and hit the biggest shots of the series. Without him, Golden State may not have beaten the Cavaliers in back-to-back years. More importantly, Durant grew in Golden State. He became a complete player, defensively dominant, an improved playmaker, and a superstar willing to play within a system. Just like LeBron refined his game in Miami, Durant reached his peak in Oakland. If not for the Achilles injury, Durant might have joined Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal as the only players to win 3 straight Finals MVPs. Instead, his run ended abruptly, leaving the debate unfinished. So where do the 2017 Warriors rank in NBA history? The 1996 Bulls had Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman, plus the league's best defense. The 1986 Celtics had Bird, McHale, and Parrish, dominating with size and skill. The 2001 Lakers had peak Shaq and Kobe steamrolling through the playoffs, but the Warriors were different. They had 4 All-Stars in their prime, the best shooting backcourt ever, a Defensive Player of the Year in Draymond and Durant, an all-time great scorer who also played elite defense. They didn't just win, they broke teams. They went on scoring runs so explosive that games were decided in minutes. They made NBA defenses look like college squads. And they changed the way the entire league was built, forcing every other team to chase three-point shooting and versatility. The counter-argument is that their dominance felt too easy, that adding Durant to a 73-win team created an imbalance that robbed the league of competition, that greatness should come with struggle, and the Warriors skipped the line. But whether you loved them or hated them, you couldn't ignore them. The Golden State Warriors' rise is one of the most remarkable stories in sports. From an afterthought in 2010 to the most valuable franchise in basketball just a decade later, they rewrote the rules of the game. And Kevin Durant's role in that story is both legendary and controversial. He came, he conquered, and he left, forever altering his legacy and the legacy of the Warriors. So, were the 2017 Warriors the greatest team of all time? Or just the most unfair cheat code basketball has ever seen? History may never give us a definitive answer, but one thing is certain. For those 2 years, the Warriors weren't just playing basketball. They were redefining what dominance looked like.